you have also put together the newsletter at Rocky Mountain Mortgage. Could you talk a little bit about how you guys are using the contest and how you're leveraging the use of that newsletter? Because out of everything they do, they take everything and they leverage it to another level to get more appointments, generate more leads.
Absolutely. Would love to speak to that. And just to give you a context for how I have personally evolved with by referral only, I attended my first main event in the year 2000 in Phoenix, Arizona. And at the time, Scott and I were running a nonprofit business, which wasn't by design or purpose. It was, and we had a business philosophy 7 years ago, which was we could get more business if we just gave more donuts to more real estate agents. And we personally contributed to the obesity factor in the state of Utah, at least for the real estate professionals, because it just didn't work. And as we got introduced to this community, and Joe and By Referral Only and your team, what we found were better tools, better resources to go out and grow our business. And one of those vehicles or tools that we found to be extremely successful in our enterprise has been the newsletter. And just to give you, if you're on the number side, if you like to get into that, we spent $60,000 mailing newsletters last year. To 7,500 clients on a monthly basis. It generated $600,000 of revenue. Just that one piece alone. And then we have 32 other touches that are integrated into our system in the after unit to stay connected with our relationship base.
So how does it generate that kind of revenue? What are some of the things that are manifested out of what's written inside that newsletter?
Great question. One of the things we discovered is that for a number of years, we had a section that was a quiz question.
Yeah.
And we had similar results where it was a few people would respond, and it was the same people that would respond. And so we thought, we need to change things up. And I remember attending a main event, Joe, where you spoke to the concept of having your sphere introduce you into the people they're connected to, into their relationship base. Right. And Scott and I went home from that main event, and on the plane we were just kicking around ideas. Well, how could we do that? How could we get our clients to introduce us to the people they know?
Yeah, right.
And as the conversation went on, it led to, well, what are we doing with our newsletter? Because that's one of the ways we communicate and stay in touch with all of our clients. And we knew there was space with the quiz question that wasn't generating a good return for us. And so we took that section and we turned it into a work lunch, a free work lunch.
What does that mean?
So we continued to throw in a riddle or a quiz question, but instead of having, before, if somebody responded, we would send them a gift certificate to their favorite restaurant. And now we switched it where anybody who responded, they would win free lunch for their office. So we wanted to create the feeling that this person was a hero, and they were able to go to their coworkers and say, hey, I just got us all pizza, I just got us some sub sandwiches, I got my friends at Rocky Mountain Mortgage Group, they're going to come over and host a lunch for us next week. And so we set it up where everybody who responded, we were able, in a real comfortable way, without, I think, the client sometimes even noticing, to get introduced to the people that they're in a relationship with.
Okay, now just slow down a little bit, because you got to hear the brilliance in this. Anyone who responds, we will bring lunch to your office. Remember I talked about being invited into people's centers of influences, being welcome into their spheres? The strongest sphere for people today are the people they work with. Since the garage door opener appeared, very few people know their neighbors, but they know who they work with. Are you following me on this? And the more you can be invited into people's workplace, well, you know I know the results. I mean, the results have been amazing for you guys. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and of course, getting trained over the years that if we're going to do something in our operation, in our business, we want to create a system. If we're going to do it more than once, if we're going to touch it more than once, let's create a system for it. So this work lunch program has actually been a system, and it exists right now in our operation, our business, that in fact, while I'm here, Scott's out right now doing a work lunch. And so we come in and we bring in the pizza or the drinks, and we've got a little getting to know you card. We play a game with all of the people there so that it really warms them up, and it gives them an opportunity to, if they're in a position that they need to go to the next step, we're able to help them with pulling their credit, with referring them to one of our preferred real estate professionals, and letting them know how much they can qualify for. And what we've discovered is, doing this for a number of years, every time we attend a work lunch, it turns into business being transacted. And so that's how we can get to where the newsletter can generate $600,000 of revenue for the company, because the newsletter has turned into being a two-way conversation tool versus a one-way, just us sending a message. It actually is a catalyst for 2, 3, 4 other interactions that lead to 50 new people now saying, I'd love to be on your newsletter list. I would love to find out and be connected to what's happening in the market and what's going on in the mortgage industry right here in Utah County.
Yeah. See, when you send out the newsletter, you will get passive and reactive referrals. When you go and do a lunch, you'll get orchestrated referrals. So it's just adding another dimension to that. God, good work there, Todd. Yeah, thank you very much. Would you thank him for that insight there? There you go.